ran the histology images through the neural network. 95% accuracy on the held-out validation set, better than the resident pathologist.
What does it look at?
What do you mean, what does it look at? It's a ResNet 50. It looks at the image. That's the point of a convolutional network.
The validation is clean, held out samples, different acquisition run. The performance is real.
We spent 4 months on this project. 95% is a good result.
Color your samples by collection site.
The malignant cases came from the regional hospital, benign controls from the university clinic.
Does the regional hospital include a scale bar in the bottom corner of their microscopy images?
Standard protocol there.
The model learned the scale bar.
It learned a ruler.
4 months.
Hold on. How do you even know that? You can't open the model and look inside it. That is literally the whole point of a black box.
That is exactly the problem. 95% accuracy, and nobody asked what it learned. Those are 2 separate questions. You answered the easier one.
But what if you're wrong? What if it did learn the pathology, and the scale bar is just a coincidence?
Apply gradient-weighted class activation maps to the validation images. The activation heat map will concentrate in the bottom corner for malignant predictions, or crop that corner from every image and retrain. Either test gives you an answer. Most people don't run the test.
So we retrain.
You fix the data first, then you retrain, then you run the test. To understand why the model found the scale bar instead of the cancer, you need to understand what a neural network actually is, what it is doing during training, and why the inside is dark by design. A neural network is a very large pile of multiplications that has been adjusted until it was wrong less often. That is a complete description. Everything else is detail. New episode every Saturday. Subscribe. The multiplications do not annotate themselves. A model is a function. It takes an input, a vector x, and produces an output. For the histology case, x is the image, 224 by 224 pixels by 3 color channels. That is 150,528 numbers in. The output is a probability across your 2 classes, malignant or benign. The model has parameters. We call them theta. Theta is the collection of every weight and every bias in the network. The model's behavior is entirely determined by theta. Before training, theta is random. After training, theta encodes whatever the model learned to reduce its error on your data. What it encoded in this case was the location of a scale bar.
What actually is a weight? Like physically in the model, what is it?
A floating point number. A weight, Wi multiplies a single input xi. In the first layer of a ResNet 50, there are roughly 9,400 weights just in the first filter. Each one scales 1 pixel value. The filter is the sum of all of them plus a bias term. That sum is one number, 1 neuron.
And there are how many neurons total?
Roughly 23 million in a ResNet 50, multiplied by their inputs. That is the pile of multiplications. A single neuron computes z equals the sum over I of weight, I times input I plus bias b. Then the neuron outputs sigma of z, where sigma is the activation function. That is the full operation. All 23 million neurons are doing exactly this.
What's the bias for?
The bias b is a learnable offset. It shifts the threshold at which the neuron activates. Without it, the neuron's decision boundary must pass through the origin. The origin is almost never the correct threshold. The bias moves it to wherever training decides it belongs.
And statistical bias is different.
Completely different, same word. The bias parameter b is a number in the model. Statistical bias is systematic error in an estimator. They are not related. If you have been confusing them, stop now. The activation function is why stacking layers produces anything useful. A network of neurons without activation functions is just a sequence of matrix multiplications. That collapses to a single matrix regardless of depth. One linear layer. The activation function breaks that. Re-LU is the standard choice, max of 0 and z. Negative inputs go to 0. Positive inputs pass through unchanged. One kink. Repeated across millions of neurons, those kinks give the network the capacity to approximate arbitrarily complex functions.
Why does one kink do anything? That seems like it shouldn't be enough.
1 kink per neuron. 23 million neurons, arranged in composition. Each layer applies its kinks to the output of the previous layer. The composition of 23 million kinks is not simple. A layer is many neurons operating in parallel on the same input. Each neuron has its own weights and bias. The layer output is a vector, one number per neuron. That vector is the input to the next layer. A deep network is layers stacked. The full computation is a composition. Layer 1 transforms the input. Layer 2 transforms that output. Each subsequent layer transforms the output of the previous one until the final layer produces the prediction. A ResNet 50 has 50 such layers.
And training is just adjusting all of those numbers.
Adjusting all 25 million of them, yes. The process is called gradient descent. You need a loss function first. The loss function measures how wrong the model is. For classification, cross-entropy is standard, negative log of the predicted probability assigned to the correct class. If the model assigns 0.95 to the correct class, the loss is low. If it assigns 0.05, the loss is high. The model minimizes this number. It does not know what your labels mean. It knows the loss. Those are not always the same thing.
That's what went wrong here. The loss went down because of the scale bar, not the pathology.
The loss went down for both. The scale bar was easier. The model learned it first and relied on it. The pathology features would have required more signal, more variety in the training data, and a dataset where the confound was absent. Gradient descent is how the minimization happens. Compute the gradient of the loss with respect to every parameter, the direction each weight would need to move to make the loss increase. Move every weight a small step in the opposite direction. Formally, theta at step t plus 1 equals theta at step t minus the learning rate eta multiplied by the gradient of L with respect to theta. Repeat for thousands of iterations. This is training.
But how do you compute the gradient for a weight in layer 1? The loss is at the output, which is 50 layers away.
You apply the chain rule. The loss is a function of the output of the last layer. The last layer is a function of the second to last. That layer is a function of the one before it, all the way back to layer 1, back to the weights. To find how a weight in layer 1 contributed to the loss, you multiply partial derivatives through every subsequent layer. dl over dw equals dl over the final output times the derivative of the final layer with respect to its input times the derivative of each prior layer back to w. You compute this backward, starting from the loss, moving toward the input. Backpropagation, published 1986. It is the chain rule applied in a specific order.
So the gradient at layer 1 is the product of 50 derivatives. What if some of those derivatives are small?
Then the gradient vanishes. That is a real problem, and we will get to it. After training, theta contains 25 million numbers. Each encodes something that optimization found useful for reducing loss on your training data. You don't know what. The interpretation is not stored with the weights. The weights are numbers. That is the black box. A well-behaved training run produces two curves, training loss and validation loss, both declining. They should stay close together. When validation loss stops declining while training loss continues to fall, the model is memorizing the training set. It is fitting features specific to your training examples, noise, acquisition artifacts, the scale bar. Those features do not generalize. This is overfitting.
Our training and validation loss both went down. That should mean it's not overfitting.
Your validation set came from the same hospital as your malignant training samples. The scale bar was in the validation images too. Overfitting to the distribution is not the same as memorizing individual examples. The model generalized fine to the wrong feature.
That's a sneaky version of the problem. It looks clean on the curves.
It looks exactly like a correctly trained model. If you have been evaluating a model only on training accuracy, you have been measuring memorization, not learning. The validation set exists because training accuracy tells you nothing about generalization. A model that memorizes 1,000 training images reports 100% training accuracy. It has learned nothing that transfers to a new image. The weights themselves are not interpretable. Weight number 7,341,902 in a ResNet 50 is a 32-bit floating point number. It participates in a specific filter at a specific spatial position in a specific layer. You cannot read its meaning in isolation. The meaning, if there is meaning, is distributed across all 25 million parameters simultaneously. No single weight has a readable label.
So there is no way to just look inside and see what it learned.
Not directly. That is why interpretability methods exist. Shortcut learning. The model finds the path to lowest loss, not the path you intended. On any dataset where a confound correlates with the label, collection site, batch date, image processing artifact, scale bar, the confound becomes a feature. This is not a bug in the model. This is correct behavior given your data. The error is in the data and in the evaluation. You checked accuracy. You did not check what was learned.
Is there a way to design the training so it can't find shortcuts? Like force it to look at the right thing?
You can control for known confounds by including them as explicit variables and adding regularization terms that penalize learning them. You can use adversarial debiasing. You can augment the training data to break the correlation. None of these work if you don't know the confound exists. The scale bar only becomes a problem once you think to look for it. Calibration. The output of a neural network classifier passes through a softmax layer, producing numbers between 0 and 1 that sum to 1. These are not probabilities in the calibrated sense. A model outputting 0.97 for malignant does not mean 97% of samples with that score are malignant. Modern neural networks are systematically overconfident. Temperature scaling corrects this post hoc. Most deployments do not apply it. Most papers do not report calibration.
We've been using the model's output directly as a confidence score.
Then your confidence scores are wrong in a specific direction. They are too high. Vanishing gradients. The gradient of the loss with respect to weights in early layers is computed by multiplying partial derivatives through every subsequent layer. The derivative of sigmoid has a maximum of 0.25. Multiply 0.25 by itself 50 times, and you have a number indistinguishable from 0. Early layers receive no gradient signal. Their weights don't update, they don't learn. This is why deep networks didn't work well before ReLU. ReLU has a derivative of exactly 1 for positive inputs. The gradient propagates unchanged.
So before ReLU, early layers were basically frozen during training?
Effectively, the gradient reached them as a rounding error.
And that was just accepted for years?
It was described as a fundamental limitation of deep networks. Then, someone replaced sigmoid with a max function, and it stopped being a limitation. Interpretability tools exist. Gradient-weighted class activation maps, Grad-CAM, backpropagate the gradient of the target class to the final convolutional feature map and produce a spatial heat map over the input. SHAP values estimate each feature's additive contribution to the prediction by averaging over a reference distribution. Integrated gradients accumulate the gradient along a path from a baseline to your sample. These tools tell you where the model was attending when it made a prediction. They do not tell you why the model learned to attend there. They do not establish causality.
So Grad-CAM would have shown us the scale bar.
It would have shown that the model attended to the corner of the image. That is a description of what happened. It does not tell you whether that attention reflects a causal relationship with the label. In this case, it reflects a confound in the data. In another case, the same region might reflect real pathology. The tool gives you the same output either way. You have to interpret it.
So what's the actual fix for this project specifically? What do we do?
Remove the scale bars, balance the collection sites between classes, retrain, validate on samples from a site the model has never seen, then run Grad-CAM on the failures and check what they have in common. Neural networks are deployed in drug target identification, protein structure prediction, pathology screening, and patient stratification. Documented cases of shortcut learning include skin lesion classifiers attending to dermatoscope markers, sepsis models attending to hospital-specific documentation patterns, and chest X-ray classifiers attending to pacemaker leads as a proxy for patient severity. In each case, the model generalized to the confound, not to the biology. The performance metric was real, the learning was wrong.
And none of those failed during validation.
All of them passed validation on their original dataset. The failure appeared at deployment when the distribution shifted. A new hospital, a different camera, a different documentation system. The model encountered a distribution it had never seen without the confound it had learned. Performance collapsed.
So the validation set is only testing whether the model memorized your confounds correctly.
When the validation set shares the same confounds as the training set, yes, the validation set should be collected under conditions that differ from training, ideally from a different site, a different batch, a different time period. Most validation sets are not designed this way.
Ours wasn't.
No, the weight matrix is not a hypothesis. It is a solution.